Guys, welcome back to the series. Today is day 2 of understanding CFA and finance related topics. And today we're going to study about CFA. And in CFA, we're going to study about derivatives. And in derivatives, we're going to talk about today's topic, that is swaps. So let us understand what are swaps. So basically, swaps are agreements to exchange certain rates at a future period. Now let us understand the swap contracts with an example. So let us say we both have taken loans, right? I have taken a loan of 10 lakh rupees and you guys have taken a loan of 10 lakh rupees. And in the market currently, there are two different types of interest rates that we would be paying, right? So I would be so there are the two types of interest rates are fixed interest rates and floating rate floating rate interest, right? So let's say I have taken a fixed interest rates and you guys have taken a rate floating interest rates where you would be paying floating rates and I would be paying a fixed rate, right? And we both have taken a loan of 10 lakh rupees. Now after a certain time I might be scared that if my floating rate would have gone down, I would be paying a higher premium, right? I would be paying higher amount for my fixed rate. So and whereas you guys might be scared that if my floating rate goes up, you guys would be paying a higher rate. So we both as and party might approach each other where I would promise to pay a floating rate, that is your interest rates, and you guys would be promised to pay my fixed rate. Okay, so now let us take an interest rate example, right? Let's say my fixed interest rate is 2% and your floating rate, that is SORF, secured overnight financial rate, is 1.6% for 90 days. So my interest rate would be 5,000 and your interest rates would be around 4,000, right, for 90 days, right? Now the SORF or the floating rate interest would be 4,000 and the fixed would be 5,000, right? So I would be paying you guys 4,000 and you guys would be paying me back 5,000, right? This is basically swaps. But what actually happens is we do not do the transactions of 5,000 or 4,000. Like I'll give you 5,000, that you'll be giving me 4,000 or vice versa, right? That would become a lot tedious, right? So what would we do is we would be giving the netted amount for the settlement and when the settlement happens. All right guys, I hope these examples I hope you guys have understood swaps with this example that I've given you of two parties. Let us now understand few features of swaps, right? In swaps, as we studied, there the payments are made on a series of payments. The payment are made on certain time period. Let's say the time period could be quarterly, the time could be monthly, the time could be yearly, right? And each settlement and at each settlement dates, the transactions or the difference of the amount is being paid and the party with a greater liability, in our case I had the greater liability, I was obliged to pay you guys the netted amount, that was for 1,000 rupees, right? Now swaps are generally traded in a dealer market, that is an over the counter party where two parties come in between and have a contract, right? Now there could be a risk, right? If the interest rate goes up or down, the other party might default, right? They might run away. So a central clearing house comes in between, which acts as a medium, so that if the one party defaults, the center party makes sure the other party gets a proper compensations, where the center clearing house takes certain margins and maintains some amount as a deposit with them. So, when we enter into swap contracts during the initial days, that is the day when we enter into contract, the price of my contract should be zero, right? Because if it's not zero, I would be making profit as soon as we enter into contract, right? So that is very important, that when we enter into contract, my contract, that is my notion price. Yes, notion price is what? It is the principal amount that we agree to be traded on, that is also my underlying asset. So for our example, that was 10 lakh rupees, right? And now you guys might be wondering that why do we enter into swaps, right? So basically, friends, we enter into swaps is because we want to hedge our losses, right? We do not want to make certain losses, even in the form of monetary losses or opportunity losses, right? Secondly, if we have taken a loan, right, I might have a different business that I want to work on, right? I might not be an economist, I might not be an expert into loans, right? So that is also few of the other reasons that we might enter into swap contracts, right? So that's it today for friends. I hope I made sense, and I hoped I was able to explain you the swap contracts of derivatives of CFA. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.